What's up, y'all? How you doing, all you stoners? Yes. Welcome to another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Petoskey. Hell yeah. Brothers and sisters, I send so much love out to all y'all. Peace, joy, yes, health, yes, abundance, and absolutely, most definitely, lots of gratitude. I appreciate you stopping by to listen. I say it all the time, but if there's just one human being out there in this big wide world that finds some value in what I'm doing, then that puts a smile on my face. I tell you what. Yes. All right, what do you say we come on up in here for a little hugging action, a little hug it out. Come on now. Woo, dog. Come on. Yeah. Feels so good. Yeah, if you're sitting next to somebody right now, just go ahead and turn over and say, hey, I love you, brother. Yeah, just look them in the eye. From one human being to another, your sister or your brother. We are all birthed from the one earth mother. Yes. Well, I'm just kind of feeling like jumping right on into it here. So let's do it. I'm going to read from a book. This gentleman, I spoke about him here on this show before. Y'all, anyone who listens to any of these, you'll see that there's a few repeat guests, if you will. Yeah, I don't talk much about this podcast out there in the world. It's just not my thing. I'm not trying to sell myself in that way. But I did mention it the other day to a friend, and she was like, "Oh wow, so who are your guests?" And I said, I'm it. At some point I would love to have a guest, a friend, sit down and talk story. And I expect that will happen. But up to this point, it's just me. And she was like, oh, okay. She wasn't really sure what to make of it. But nonetheless, I sort of see myself as having guests in a way, because I read from things that other people have put out there into the world. So in a sense, I am bringing them as a guest onto my show. And this cat here, Dr. Joe Dispenza, it's been quite a while now, a couple years maybe even, but I read some from one of his books, and I'm gonna read a little bit from this book called Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. This brother is, I've never met him, I've never been to a retreat or anything of his, although I would love to do that. But I have utilized his books. I think I've read 3 of them anyways. I don't know how many he's got, but and do his meditations very regularly. So he's had a profound impact on my life, and I just want to give many thanks to our brother, Dr. Joe Dispenza, an amazing human being who's spreading so much joy and love and light and healing out into the world in his precious lifetime. So let's read a little bit from this book. I'm going to jump all the way back to the afterword, and we're just going to read that. So let's jump on into it. What I hope you take away from this book is that it's not enough to change your state of being only when you meditate. It's not sufficient to just think and feel peace with your eyes closed and then open them and carry on throughout the day in limited unconscious states of mind and body. In many of the peace-gathering projects and studies mentioned in this book, when the experiments concluded, very often the reduced violence and crime returned to their former baseline levels. This means that we actually have to demonstrate peace, which requires us to get our bodies involved, and that means we have to move from thinking to doing. Every time we change our state of being and begin our day by opening our hearts to the elevated states that connect us to a love for life, a joy for existence, the inspiration to be alive, a state of gratitude that our future has already happened, and a level of kindness toward others, we must carry, maintain, and demonstrate that energy and state of being throughout the day, whether we are sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. Then, when upsetting events occur in our lives or in the world, if we demonstrate peace rather than unconsciously act in predictable so-called natural reactionary ways, such as expressing anger, frustration, violence, fear, suffering, or aggression, we are no longer contributing to the world's old consciousness. By breaking that cycle and demonstrating peace by example, we give others permission to do the same, because knowledge is for the mind and experience is for the body. When we move from thinking to doing and experience the corresponding emotions of peace and inner balance, the moment we begin to embody peace is when we really begin to change the program. By tempering those reactive behaviors and thus no longer creating the same redundant experiences and emotions, we no longer fire and wire the same circuits in the brain. This is how we cease conditioning the body to live in the self-limiting emotions of the mind. And this is how we change ourselves and our relationship to the world around us. Every time we do this, we are literally teaching our body to chemically understand what our mind is intellectually understood. This is how we select and instruct the latent genes that cause us to thrive, not just survive. Now, peace is within us, and we are knocking on the genetic door to biologically become exactly that. Isn't that what every great charismatic leader, saint, mystic, and master throughout history has continually preached? Of course, it's going to feel unnatural in the beginning to go against years of automatic conditioning, unconscious habits, reflexive emotional reactions, hardwired attitudes, and generations of genetic programming. But that is exactly how we become supernatural. To do what feels unnatural means going against how we have all been genetically programmed or socially conditioned to live when we are threatened in some way. I'm sure any creature that has broken from the consciousness of the tribe, the pack, the school, or the herd in order to adapt to a changing environment must have felt the discomfort and uncertainty of the unknown. But let's not forget that living in the unknown means we are in the realm of possibility. The real challenge is not to return to the level of mediocrity that the prevailing social consciousness agrees on merely because we don't see anyone else doing what we are doing. True leadership never needs confirmation from others. It just requires a clear vision and a change in energy. That is, a new state of being that is sustained for a long enough period of time and executed with a strong enough will that it causes others to raise their own energy and become inspired to do the same. Once they do raise themselves from their own limited state of being to a new energy, they see the same future that their leader sees. There is power in numbers. After all my years of teaching people about personal transformation, I know no one changes until they change their energy. In fact, when someone is truly engaged in change, they are less likely to talk about it and more prone to demonstrate it. They are working on living it. This requires awareness, intent, staying present, and constant attention to their inner states. Perhaps the biggest hurdle is not only being uncomfortable, but also being okay with being uncomfortable. Because discomfort is our challenge to grow. It makes us feel more alive. After all, if stress and the survival response are the result of not being able to predict our future, then opening our minds and hearts to believe in possibility requires going against thousands of years of genetically hardwired survival traits. We must lay down the very thing that we have always used to get what we want for something much better to occur. To me, that's true greatness. If we can do it once, disturb those neural networks equated with anger, resentment, and retribution, and instead activate the neural networks related to experiences of caring, giving, and nurturing, and so create the corresponding emotions, then we should be able to do it again. And the repetition of those choices will neurochemically condition our mind and body to become one. When the body knows how to do this as well as the mind, it becomes innate, familiar, easy, and second nature. Then, thinking and demonstrating peace, which once required focused awareness, becomes a subconscious program. Now we've created a new, automatic, peaceful state of being. And again, that means that now peace is within us. This is how we memorize a new internal neurochemical order that's greater than any conditions in our external environment. Now we're not just being peace, but mastering it, as well as mastering ourselves and our environment. Once enough of us can achieve this state of being, once everyone is locked into the same energy, frequency, and elevated consciousness, just like schools of fish or flocks of birds moving as one in a unified order, we begin to act as one mind and emerge as a new species. But if we continue to act as a cancerous organism at war with itself, our species will not survive, and evolution will continue its grand experiment. Take time out of your busy life to invest in yourself, because when you do, you are investing in your future. If your familiar environment is controlling how you think and feel, it's time to retreat from your life and go inward so you can reverse the process of being a victim of life and instead become a creator of it. After reading this book, by now you know that it's possible to change yourself from within, and that when you do, it will be reflected in your outer world. This is a time in history when it is not enough to simply know. This is a time to know how. According to the philosophical understanding and scientific principles of quantum physics, neuroscience, and epigenetics, we now understand that our subjective mind influences the objective world. Because mind influences matter, we are compelled to study the nature of mind. Our understanding then allows us to assign meaning to what we're doing. If knowledge is the precursor to experience, then the more knowledge we have about how powerful we are, as well as understanding the science behind how things work, the more we can understand the limitlessness of our potential, both as individuals and as a collective. Because we are constantly deepening and broadening our understanding of the interconnectedness of all living systems, and because each of us is a contributor to the Earth's field, I believe we can collectively create and guide a new, peaceful, and prosperous future upon this planet. It all begins by making a habit of practicing leading with our hearts, raising our energy, and tuning in to greater information and frequencies of love and wholeness. With effort and intention, we should begin to produce a coherent electromagnetic signature. Just like dropping pebbles into a still lake over and over, as we continue to raise our energy and open our hearts, we are producing bigger and bigger electromagnetic fields. This energy is information, and we each have the power to direct our energy with intention to produce non-local effects on the nature of reality. When we direct our energy as an observer, a consciousness, or a thought, we can begin to affect a downward causation of matter. In other words, we can literally make our minds matter. When we practice these concepts on a consistent basis, changing our levels of energy from survival states to greater levels of awareness, compassion, love, gratitude, and other elevated emotions, these coherent electromagnetic signatures entrain to one another. The effect should then be that we can unify communities that once were separated by the belief that we are just matter. Once we transition our state of being from survival into love, gratitude, and creation, then instead of reacting to violence, terrorism, fear, prejudice, competition, selfishness, and separation, which, by the way, the media, commercials, video games, and all types of stimulation are constantly reminding and programming us to live within, we can come together instead during crisis, and we will have no further need for splintering, assigning blame, or seeking revenge. Every time we meditate as a global community, we're casting a larger, stronger, coherent wave of love and altruism around the world. If we do this enough times, we should be able to not only measure the changes in energy and frequency around the world, but measure our efforts by the positive changes in the events that take place in our future. To stand up for justice and peace, then, you must first find peace within yourself. You must then demonstrate peace to others, which means you can't make a stand for peace or be peace while you're warring with your neighbor, hating your coworker, or judging your boss. If everybody, and I mean everybody, chooses peace, and if we came together at the exact same time, imagine the type of positive change we could create in our collective future. There would be no conflict. What's equally powerful is that when we are the living embodiment of peace, we show up as unpredictable to others, and then they pay attention. Thanks to mirror neurons, a special class of brain cells that fire when we see someone perform an action, we are biologically wired to mimic each other's behavior. Modeling peace, justice, love, kindness, care, understanding, and compassion allows others to open their hearts and move from fearful, aggressive states of survival to feeling wholeness and connectedness. Think what would happen if we all understood how interconnected we were to one another and to the field, rather than feeling separated and isolated. We might actually begin to take responsibility for our thoughts and emotions, because we would finally understand how our state of being affects all of life. This is how we begin to change the world, by first changing ourselves. The future of humanity does not rest on one person, leader, or messiah with a greater consciousness to show us the way. Rather, it requires the evolution of a new collective consciousness, because it is through the acknowledgement and application of the interconnectedness of human consciousness that we can change the course of history. While it appears old structures and paradigms are collapsing, we should not face this with fear, anger, or sadness, because this is the process by which evolution and new things occur. Instead, we should face the future with a whole new light, energy, and consciousness. As I have mentioned, the old has to fall apart and fall away before something new flourishes. Integral to this process is not squandering our energy by emotionally reacting to leaders or people in power. When they capture our emotions, they capture our attention, and thus they have captured our energy. This is how people gain power over us. Instead, we must make a stand for principles, values, and moral imperatives like freedom, justice, truth, and equality. When we achieve this through the power of the collective, we will unite behind the energy of oneness rather than be controlled by the idea of separation. This is when standing up for truth is no longer personal, but through unifying and building community becomes universal. I believe we are on the verge of a great evolutionary jump. Another way to say it is that we are going through an initiation. After all, isn't an initiation a rite of passage from one level of consciousness to another? And isn't it designed to challenge the fabric of who we are so we can grow to a greater potential? Maybe when we see, remember, and awaken to who we truly are, human beings can move as a collective consciousness from a state of surviving into a state of thriving. It's then that we can emerge into our true nature and fully access our innate capacity as human beings, which is to give, to love, to serve, and to take care of one another and the earth. So why not ask yourself every day, what would love do? This is who we really are, and this is the future I'm creating, one in which each and every one of us becomes supernatural. Yeah. Dr. Joe Dispenza. Woo, that brother. Yeah. He's no joke, man. I love his work. I love his whole approach. You know, and sometimes I dip out into the confusion and the pain and the sleepiness of the mundane world of separation and fear. And I get caught, I get sucked back into it. And, you know, I've been working with Joe's tools, his meditations, now for 2 years, 2.5 years maybe. And I still forget. But more and more, I am tapping into my supernaturalness, and it has profoundly changed my life. And I do believe it's true. When he talks about dropping a pebble into a still pond, the ripples of that do grow bigger and bigger. And to me, that's the good life. So thank you so much, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Keep on rocking, brother. Keep on doing your thing, man. He's got a movie coming out. I can't wait to see it. It's coming out real soon. So that's just a little public service announcement for all y'all. Go check him out. Jump on his website or something, and you'll see this. I can't recall the name of the film, but yeah, it's gonna be dope. Yeah. Woo. I'm feeling like some poetry. You know how it is around here. We always have a little poetry. So we're gonna do some couple of poems from my brother Robinson Jeffers. This cat he's just his way with words is second to none. And he was prolific. My goodness gracious. So I don't know, this man, he has a way of through his poetry, through his words of expressing some of these places and corners of humanity that tend to remain in the darkness, and he's just so brilliant at bringing them into the light with his beautiful words. So yeah, let's do it. This one's called Memoir. I saw the laboratory animals, throat bandaged dogs cowering in cages, still obsessed with the pitiful love that dogs feel, longing to lick the hand of their devil. And the sick monkeys, dying rats, all sacrificed to human inquisitiveness, pedantry, and vanity, or at best, the hope of helping hopeless invalids live long and hopelessly. I left that great light room where pain was in the air and found my friends dehorning cattle in the field above Rio Padre Canyon. The buyers are quiet now. So many horned beasts have injured each other in the gorged trucks and crowded cattle cars up to Calvary. I watched the two Vasquez boys, great riders, drive the scared steers into the frame that clamps them and holds them helpless. Bill Floodden, with a long-handled tool like pruning shears, crushed off the horns and the blood spouted. Ed Stiles, our knower of bawdy stories, the good-natured man, stands by to cake the blood fountains with burning alum. These fellows are fit for life, sane men, well buttoned in their own skins, rarely feel pain outside their own skins. Whilst I, like a douser, go here and there, with skinless pity for the dipping hazel fork. Blank rises the limestone mountain Pico Blanco. Blue runs the sea. No life here but some gray bushes, lupine and sage. No creditor of pity, sage and satisfied plants, for a rain this morning. Here in the sanctuary, I need not think beyond the west water that 1 million persons are presently dying of hunger in the provinces of China. I need not think of the Russian labor camps, the German prison camps, nor any of those other centers that make the earth shine like a star with cruelty for light. I need not think of the tyrannies that make the tyrants ignoble and their victims contemptible. I need not think of the probable wars, tyranny, and pain made worldwide. I need not know that this is our world, where only fool or drunkard makes happy songs. I got nothing to say. I mean, that's just like, who can do that? Who can do that? This is why I love poetry, y'all. This is it. This is why I read poetry on my shows every week. This is it right here. unbelievable stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. Yeah, just because I love me some Robinson Jones. This one is titled Nova. That Nova was a moderate star like our good sun. It stored no doubt a little more than it spent of heat and energy until the increasing tension came to the trigger point of a new chemistry. Then what was already flaming found a new manner of flaming 10,000-fold more brightly for a brief time. What was a pinpoint fleck on a sensitive plate at the great telescope's eyepiece now shouts down the steep night to the naked eye, a 9-day superstar. It is likely our moderate father, the sun, will sometime put off his nature for a familiar glory. The earth would share it. These tall green trees would become a moment's torches and vanish. The oceans would explode into invisible steam. The ships and the great whales fall through them like flaming meteors into the emptied abysm. The 6-mile hollows of the Pacific seabed might smoke for a moment. Then the earth would be like the pale, proud moon. Nothing but vitrified sand and rock would be left on earth. This is a probable death passion for the sun's planets. We have no knowledge to assure us it may not happen at any moment of time. Meanwhile, the sun shines wisely and warm. Trees flutter green in the wind. Girls take their clothes off to bathe in the cold ocean or to hunt love. They stand laughing in the white foam. They have beautiful shoulders and thighs. They are beautiful animals. All life is beautiful. We cannot be sure of life for one moment. We can, by force and self-discipline, by many refusals and a few assertions, in the teeth of fortune, assure ourselves freedom and integrity in life, or integrity in death. And we know that the enormous and vulnerable beauty of things is the face of God. To live gladly in its presence and die without grief or fear, knowing it survives us. See, there you go. I mean, those two poems, couldn't have been more different. And yet, as I said, they just bring out into the light those places that we normally prefer to keep in the dark. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Jeff is my brother. You done good, brother. You done good. All right, let's do a tune and then get on out of here. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. You are a miracle. You are amazing. Don't doubt it for one fucking second, y'all. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this one. This is an old one. I haven't played this one forever. I used to just quick story on this tune. I used to volunteer at hospice. I did that for a long time, and I'll give massage, and but I would also take my guitar to some of these facilities, and I would play, play some songs, sing some songs for the residents and any other family, friends who happen to be around. I just, for a half an hour or so, just playing some songs. And this one was one that always brought a lot of smiles to people's faces. So, yeah, let's this is a classic. This is a Stone Cold classic. And I hope I don't muck it up too bad. Fly me to the moon, let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Yeah. In other words, I love you. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, y'all. All right. Much love, much love, much love. I appreciate you. Thank you again for stopping by. Until next time, this is Stone Petoskey saying peace out.